will answer your question. It might have to do with the color of our skin.
Representative Gloria Johnson was a teacher at Central High School in Knoxville that faced a school shooting more than a decade ago. At the end of the night, the lawmakers, now known as the Tennessee Three, stood together again, and Johnson vowed to work to get her expelled colleagues back in the House.
And I just cannot say enough about how proud I am, always and forever, to stand with these two brilliant young men who connect with their community, who really listen and understand the voters in their districts and across this state, who can tell everybody in the most powerful way. They spoke to our members. They won't admit it, I don't think, but they spoke to those hearts. I could see it on faces.
Yeah.
But still, what's the difference? Where I made it through, and these two young men did not make it through. I think you're right. We know. We know why. But here's the difference. I think we might have these two young men back very soon, and that's... like hell to get both of them back. Yeah!
Representative Gloria Johnson standing next to the Justins, Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, who had just been expelled by the Tennessee state legislature. Well, we're joined right now by Justin Jones, expelled Democratic Tennessee state representative of Nashville. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us again after this marathon day. Your feelings yesterday as you stood with such passion yet composure, dressing down your colleagues who are questioning you, then expelling you. Justin Jones.
Thank you so much for having me again, Amy. It's good to be here.
So your feelings right now, how is it possible? I mean, it's not like you were hired to work at a store and then you were fired. You were elected by the people of Nashville. So how is it that a Republican supermajority can fire you, can expel you?
Gotcha. Sorry, I couldn't hear your other question, but I mean, I'm feeling, when it happened, it didn't feel real. I didn't, if I didn't know what happened to me, I would think it was 1963, not 2023, that a predominantly, almost entirely white Republican caucus expelled the two youngest black lawmakers, not for any unethical or criminal behavior, but for our First Amendment activity and for standing and doing our job to speak up for our constituents and to speak up particularly for young people who are terrified of these weapons of war on our streets. And so I'm feeling, I'm tired, but more so I'm tired of the injustice that rules the state capitol. But I think that what they've done, though, is the complete opposite. They may have won yesterday, but they have not won the moral narrative as we go forward. That they thought by expelling us, they would silence us, they would silence our movements that we're part of. But in fact, they've amplified it because the nation can see how racist they are. The nation can see how retaliatory and absurd and authoritarian they are. And so I think that is what gives me hope, is that they tried to kick us out, but instead they put a spotlight on themselves for their shameful policies that make it easier to get a gun than it is to get health care in this state.
We spoke to you a few days ago. I was going to say Representative Jones, but you are Representative Jones. The question is, will you be just immediately reinstated next week? They're talking about your behavior as you spoke out from the well of the House of Representatives in Tennessee. But I wanted to ask you about Republican State Representative Justin Lafferty. We showed this a few days ago as well, of Knoxville, who pushed you and grabbed your phone as you filmed the interaction. He attacked you. Can you talk about, was he disciplined for violent behavior?
Not at all. I mean, Representative Lafferty, the same representative who tried to justify the 3/5 compromise in the Constitution a couple of years ago, I mean, he can act, out of decorum, out of rules, act violently, and he's welcome within his party. I mean, that's what we brought up yesterday, is that we've had so many instances of behavior. You had the Republican caucus chairman get upset at his son's basketball game and pull down the pants of the referee. That, does not merit any type of sanction. You had a member who admitted to being a child molester, Representative David Byrd. He sat there without being expelled. You have David Hawk, who was, guilty of domestic violence. I mean, these things happened, and there was no accountability. But for us, for exercising our First Amendment activity, for saying that, we took our oath seriously to protest against and dissent from any legislation that is injurious to the people, Article 2, Section 27 of the state constitution. We took that seriously. They expelled us, the most serious measure taken against us. And it's wrong, it's shameful. And what it really was about trying to silence the voices of the 78,000 people each of us represent.
So,
in the most diverse districts in the state. Can
you tell us, and this is an absolutely key point, you represent the largest and most diverse cities in Tennessee. The local governing bodies, for example, of Metro Nashville, could reappoint you immediately?
That's what we're hearing. The question will be, will the Republican supermajority seat us? And so, I mean, we would have to still run in a special election, and will the speaker seat us back in the body, or will this be a legal battle? Just like Julian Bond, they refused to seat him in Georgia when he was a young man who ran for the legislature during the Civil Rights Movement. And so we don't know what to expect. I mean, I don't think the nation, what happened yesterday was unprecedented, and it should alarm us all that if it can happen in Tennessee, it can happen anywhere. And so I hope that people are paying attention. I hope that people realize that this is authoritarianism, that this is ousting of opposition voices from a legislative body, is authoritarianism. This is not democracy. I know I'm on Democracy Now!, but this is definitely not what democracy looks like. And we are on a very scary path toward fascism, toward authoritarianism, toward autocracy in Tennessee, the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan.
And let's remember the significance of this week. I mean, this is the week of April 4th. April 4th, 1968, Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was gunned down, and we're also here talking about gun violence that began this protest you were involved with, Justin Jones. But so there was the Tennessee Three, you, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson. You both are 27. She's 60 years old. You are both black. She is white. She made no bones about this. She said the reason she was not expelled, and you two were, was the color of your skin. At the end, I was walking through the streets of New York, watching on my phone what was happening. And when Justin Pearson gave his final comments, the Tennessee feed from the House of Representatives called him Justin Pearson, like they couldn't tell the difference between the two of you.
Yeah, they called him, they confused his name, Justin Jones.
Oh, sorry, called him Justin Jones, your name.
Yeah. I mean, that is it, is that they saw two young black men who, speak up on the House floor, speak up in committees and challenge this dominant narrative of white supremacy, of plantation capitalism, of patriarchy, and that terrified them, that we, were the two youngest lawmakers. I'm 27, Pearson's 28, and that, we represent the future of this state, and that is what they're trying to stop, is that they want to hold on to this old South when we're trying to bring a renewed South that uplifts human rights and democracy, multiracial democracy, and social justice. And so what we saw yesterday was a public lynching, let's be real, and it was meant to set an example, but we did not bow down. And that's what I think has them, really upset, is that we didn't break, we didn't bow down. They wanted us to, to feel broken, but we left with our fist up in the air because we knew that that this was not the end, that they may expel us, but they can't expel our movements, and that's what terrifies them.
Well, Justin Jones, I want to thank you for being with us. Of course, we'll continue to follow this. A major protest is planned for Monday, I know. Will you be out there?
I definitely will. I'll be outside of that chamber with these young people, showing up every week until we take action to take these weapons of war off our street and until we honor the victims of Covenant Elementary School. by acting.
Justin Jones, expelled Democratic Tennessee state representative representing Nashville, author of The People's Plaza, 62 Days of Nonviolent Resistance, with a foreword by Bishop William Barber. Thanks so much for being with us.